All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Path to Mastery podcast. And today we have a special treat for you guys. We are with Mr. Ren Jones, the CEO, founder of Vulcan7. Ren, what's up, man?
Isn't this the most exciting business in the world?
Where
else can you make this kind of money? Take off when you feel like it. Hire a bunch of people, make a lot of mistakes, and still come up looking just great.
Yeah, when you look at it that way.
I mean, it's an adventure. Anything else? Can you imagine regular work? Honestly, David, can you imagine?
Yeah,
if you had a real job, the pain of a real job.
Well, hey,
you would make a lot less.
Well, here's the thing. You're kind of joking around, Ren, but at the
same time, I am perfectly serious.
There's too many.
I am perfectly serious.
Well, here's what I would say. There's too many people that don't take this as a serious job and don't put in the amount of time and energy they need to in order to be successful in real estate.
It is one of the toughest things because we don't have a real boss. You don't have anybody that's going to go do this or you're fired. And so we don't do it.
Yeah. Well, that is one of the challenges, the accountability.
That's a big problem.
And that's what I help people with. But
right. Well, I'm glad you're here because a lot of them need to get involved with you.
You all, and that's why we've been using your product for over 12 years. But it's not about that today. We want to talk to people about the listing side of real estate. Tell us how long you've been in the business again. Tell us about yourself, and then why did you start Vulcan7?
Out of the pain point. So I ran a team for many years, sell 150 to 180 homes a year. Just me. I would list property. I had 2 buyer agents, 2 assistants. It was very lean, mean, kept most of the money. I wasn't running a lot of ads I didn't have that much overhead. I was mainly just listing 12, 14 homes a month. And then selling at that time, you'd sell about 2/3 of them. And then you created a lot of homeless people. And then the buyer agents took them around. Those were quick sales because they had nowhere to live. And you'd pop out 150, 160, 180 homes a year. It was a wonderful, wonderful thing. It's a very simple business and very, very profitable as long as every morning, Monday through Friday, you showed up, spent about 3 hours talking to people with intensity and passion and setting appointments. If you didn't do that, if you're just hoping people would call you, well, you're broke. But so after it getting hard to reach sellers, I'm like, there's got to be an easier way. And we invented Vulcan7, or I invented Vulcan7. I was able to find 90% of people online manually. And I said, I can automate this. So.
And how long is Vulcan? Because I was thinking back, I think I started with you guys in like 2009.
11 years. Yeah. Well, I guess.
So, okay. Well, so in the beginning,
it must have been like 2008. So yeah, you must have been one of the first, second.
Yeah. Because Pete, it was Pete.
Your membership number. Here it is. 0000005. No, just kidding.
Is that but remember Peter Chabris is the one that connected me with you guys.
Oh, really? Yeah.
You with Jeff Glover. I don't know if Jeff's still with you guys. That guy's
absolutely. And we have become very good friends.
Yeah, Jeff.
Oh, yeah, he's good.
All right. So let's so we've been hanging out for a while. We've been using your product forever. Why? Like, we're talking about mastering the listing side of the business. Like, what would you say? Well, first off, why is that important in your opinion? I mean,
well, buyers take time, listings take skill. If you're spending a lot of time working with buyers, I mean, it is a very painful life. And we've all seen this where someone after about 8 years in the business basically has a meltdown because they have no life. If they're like, their spouse is mad at them because, at family events, they're off on the phone, just busy on the phone because they're working all these buyer deals. And buyers take a lot of time. Each buyer takes a lot of time. It just takes a tremendous amount of time. Whereas with a listing, if you work 3 hours every day, Monday through Friday, during the daytime hours, and you set listing appointments, you meet with them in the early evening, and then enjoy your weekends and have a couple of people that handle 100% of the buyers, then you can have a normal life, take 4 to 8 weeks vacation a year. And when you're on vacation, you come back and you've sold 3 homes. Try that with a buyer.
Did that while I was in Hawaii last week, bro.
Exactly. If
So
you can't do that with buyer, I mean, it's
no.
almost impossible to do that with a buyer.
So here's the listen. Beyond that, Ren, which is critical. I mean that is why in 2009 and 10 I really hunkered down and started using your service. But now, I mean, there's no inventory. So how? I mean, that it really impacts the buyer side of the business.
You know, I really enjoy hearing when people go, "Well, there's no inventory."
Well,
Here's
you
the thing.
know what I'm
Here's
saying.
the thing, and
I
you
get
know
it.
this,
Yeah.
and you know this, you know this. Which is harder, being one of 24 offers on a property with somebody who's putting 10% down, or finding a listing? And you have to get a little creative, but if you talk to enough people, you can find a listing. But and there are a lot less people looking for listings. And so the ones that we do, we have thousands of people that every month take 4, 5, 6, 8 listings a month, sometimes 10. And all you have to do is do what they do. And if you're like, well, I don't know what they do. Well, none of them, unless they're in your town, would turn down you visiting them for the morning and watching them and then going back and using the copycat principle. Or even better, just get involved with what you do, David, and teach those principles, because we know, you know, if when it's real easy to get listings, there are 10 times as many agents going after them. When they're harder to get, there's about 1/10 as many people looking for them. So it's about the same no matter what the market. What's interesting is when in 2008, 9, 10, when nothing was selling, it was interesting. The newer agents would say, well, nothing's selling, so I'm just going to work with buyers. And the seasoned agent would say, well, nothing's selling, so I'm just going to list property like crazy. Now that everything sells in 2 seconds, the newer agent says, well, it's almost impossible to get a listing, so I'm just going to work with buyers. And the seasoned agent goes, the buyer side's just total insanity. I'm just going to list property. So nothing has changed.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that's changed is there are fewer people willing to pull the trigger right now. So there's definitely more.
You're still going to sell 5 million homes this year.
I get it. I'm just,
and in the worst year ever, you still sold 4.1. And in the best year ever, it's 6. It's not that big a difference between here and here.
So
it's not that big a difference.
Well, I understand. Well, listen, it's getting out there every day and it's being consistent, like you said.
Right. So if you had somebody said you're not allowed to work with a buyer, you have to start every Monday at 7:30 in the morning, and then work till no later than 7:30 at night. Monday through Friday, you're not allowed to work past 7:30 at night, and you're not allowed to work at all on weekends, and you have to take at least one listing every week. You have to, or you're dead, or whatever. It's some terrible. Could you do it? Yes, you could, because if all you did is look for listings, you would get them.
Of course, 100%. So what do you think? And by the way, for all the people on Clubhouse right now, we appreciate you being here on Clubhouse Live. We also have us live on YouTube. We have live on LinkedIn. We have live on Facebook. I mean, this technology.
This is the only place you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year if you just. Yeah. But you know this, David. Everybody gets distracted. They're like, we've got this magic answer. We've got this magic answer, and we use this system and whatnot. Get your name out and broadcast and do these soft touches automatically. And then what happens? Nothing.
Yeah. So Ren, I'm gonna open.
Real estate's a contact sport.
All right, I'm gonna open it up for questions. By the way, for my friends in Clubhouse, there's an opportunity for you guys to ask Ren some questions in a few minutes. What would you say? What makes a great listing agent, Ren? Like what would you say is a couple of the characteristics of somebody that does end up becoming a great listing agent?
Acting like a business person, structuring the business in a repeatable, duplicatable manner, having a business plan that says what you need to do every day, 5 days a week, not 7, 5 days a week, and executing on that plan. If you have to adjust the plan, you can, but you operate it like a business. You don't do 1 week, you're doing something crazy. Well, I had somebody in from Chicago. I spent 4 days with them showing a property and we lost 5 deals. Just get rid of the crazy. Just have a disciplined approach. Do the same thing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday afternoon comes, take off, do it again starting Monday. Take 4 or 5 weeks vacation a year, run it like a business, model it after people that are running listing businesses that dominate the listing inventory in their market. Well, you have to have a giant team to do that. If you look at the list of people in your market, there are a lot of listing agents that are solo agents. Maybe they have a couple buyer agents, but it's easier than you know. Use the copycat principle. Go to a city 100 miles away and shadow somebody. Everybody, I do that roadmap show on YouTube. They could go call any one of those people. Those people would all say, yes, come spend a half a day with me. Watch what I do. Go back and copy it, and you too will make $500,000 a year. And they will.
So let me bring you back to the first thing. When I asked you the question, the first thing you said was acting like a professional. Let's break that down a little bit, because
there's a lot of people are pop-up realtors, like you put them in the toaster, and after about 2 minutes they pop up and they're like, oh, I gotta run over here, oh, I gotta run over there, oh, so and so called, oh, I gotta run over here. And it's just like there's no plan. It's just reactive mode. Whereas instead I would look at taking the day and putting it into 3 parts. All morning, look for business. In the middle of the day, work on your business. In the afternoon, go on appointments. On the weekends, enjoy your friends and family.
Oh, I love this. I've never heard it said that way.
Here's the thing. In the morning, how many people I have an appointment at 9 o'clock tomorrow? That is the dumbest thing in the world. You should be looking for business in the morning. You're stepping on yourself. What are you going to call people at night? The problem with calling people at night is the only time they can meet is at night. And now you're stepping on yourself again. So it's easier to find people in the morning when they're most receptive. They're in a good mood. They've had their first cup of coffee. They're still dabbling with their Cheerios. And you have a conversation with them. You set an appointment with them. You get some administrative work done. In the afternoon, at 4:30, you go meet with them, put a sign lockbox in the yard, and go home and play with your kids.
So I just want everybody to, I want to emphasize what you said, because I love how simple you just said. You look for business in the morning, you work on business in the afternoon,
midday,
in the midday, and then you go on appointments in the afternoon.
Yeah. Then go home and enjoy your life. We all, like real estate is my life. Well, what a bunch of crap that is. No, you need a life.
Well, for
have money and time to enjoy it. This idea that, I don't have a personal life in it. I'm a real.
Well, I'll be honest. In the beginning, for me, I worked a lot of hours till I figured out leverage, and I think it's okay in the beginning, until you can figure it out, But I do agree. This having the structure is really, really important.
Right. So what's nice is if you can save some souls, and David, I know you're doing that, instead of going out there and doing what a lot of us had to do, or we just made mistakes for 6-8 years, starved to death and worked our butts off for a low money until we figured it out. Have somebody show you the path. And David, you do that. You wouldn't intentionally say, go do this and this and this if they were going to go down the painful road that most agents
go.
You're going to lead them in what's called best practices and take them through, a relatively painless process to operate the business.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, what I want to do is
What's the easiest way for them to get involved in your program? Is it path-to-mastery.com? Is that it?
Yeah. For people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just asking, is it the number 2 or is it TO?
No, the easiest way to connect with me is just go to davidhill.link. But I want to
davidhill.link. Okay, gotcha. All right. Yeah, I'm just asking because let's make it simple for people.
Absolutely. So that to that point, if there was one thing, like let's say everybody listening to this now is like, you know what, I really want to focus on the listing side, but I feel like I'm stuck because I've got all these because I hear that all the time. Well, I've got these buyers and they're almost ready to go, and I've spent so much time. And how do you make that? What would be the one thing you would say to that person that would help them make that transition? And then I'm going to open it up to Clubhouse.
If those buyers are weighting you down, if they're laying on your arm, just gnaw your arm off and run away. I mean, honestly, I know everybody's stuck. I would take, no, honestly, let's be honest. So if you have, and we have All these people have, like, I've got 17 fence sitters. They're sitting there waiting for a house to come on the market, and they're like, I'm putting down 10%. And somebody comes in from San Diego and says, I'm paying all cash, no inspection. Don't worry about appraisals, not a problem. And all cash, close in 10 days. I mean, and they go, darn, we missed out again. Or their buyer goes, well, I'm not going to go up that high. Well, I'm not doing, I mean, the best thing you can do is find somebody in the office that loves buyers. You know how those people, they're there. I love buyers. I love them. Take them to lunch and make a business deal with them. Say, what I'd like to do is give you all my buyers and let's cut a deal. I'll refer you buyers on 3 levels, 25, 50, and 75. May I explain what that looks like? Well, what is it? Well, a 25% referral, you haven't really vetted them. They're interested in buying, but it would be a 25% referral. You okay with that? Sure, that's what I do. 50% is they're very motivated. Maybe they don't have a house to sell. Maybe I've sold their listing. 50%. May I tell you what a 75% referral would look like? Well, I would never do a 75% referral. Well, maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. I've sold their $450,000 house. They want to go out and buy a 1.2. Okay. That's $3,600. Now you would get 9,000 and there are only 3 houses to show them. Are you okay with that? Well, I'm okay with that. Because here's the problem, and you know this, David. Agents are afraid to refer the trade-ups. And so they stop what they're doing because they're like, well, I would never refer it out at 50% or whatever it is. I'm not giving them half of my commission. No, you shouldn't. But they don't need half the commission to show 3 houses for a 1.2. They don't. Make the deal ahead, 25, 50, 75, work out the deal. Because if you stop looking for listings, it'll break your stride. When you breaks your stride, now you're hauling somebody around for 2 weeks, which turns into 3 weeks, which turns into 4 weeks, which turns into, we've decided we're just going to wait. We've seen that too many times. So don't even go down that slippery slope. Don't go down. It's like the ball going downhill. You got to get in front of it. Just let somebody else chase that ball downhill. Well, you give them all of those. You do listings only. Go out and get yourself a smart car because you can't put anybody in it.
Let me jump in here because
that's why they call it a smart car, because you can't put anybody else in it.
You're hard to interview, man. You got a lot of energy. You're good. Listen, so Lisa on LinkedIn says this is it's so amazing how agents are doing everything. It's crazy not to leverage like a business. We have systems in place and it's so exciting. It takes time to document what needs to be done. Sometimes you need to slow down and create the process. So true. So true. Years ago, I literally took a Saturday and I built out my pre-listing packet and I built out a few I did it myself because I didn't have anybody to do it, but I took the Saturday and went to my office and spent a whole day doing that. And then once you do that, once you have it moving forward. I want to talk to you about fear though, because this is going to be one of the things, in my opinion, that's going to stop a lot of agents, especially doing what you and I do. And, you're the owner of Vulcan7, which people know is it's FSBO, it's expired, it's cold people. It's people that you don't know yet in a lot of cases.
Oh, fear of missing a car payment or a mortgage payment? Yes, that's a big fear. So talk to strangers. That will make that fear go away.
That's it. Talk to strangers.
Well, if you're talking about the fear of not being able to make your car payment or your mortgage payment because you don't have any commission checks, go talk to strangers. Now, here's the reality. If calling people you don't know didn't cause a lot of anxiety and fear, how many people would do it? Everybody would do it. What would it pay then? $18 an hour would be what it would pay because everybody would enjoy doing it. So that actually is the good news. Now, here's the thing. When you get used to it, what's Pythagoras? You know Pythagoras? He had the Pythagorean principle. He was a realtor in old Greece, wasn't he? Or was it Rome? Italy, somewhere. Pythagoras said, take the road that's best, no matter how rough, and soon it becomes easy and agreeable. So what we know is if you get involved in that, sure, this person yelled at me. Oh, yeah, but you got an $18,000 commission check. After a while, you get good at this. David, you've been doing this a long time. Is it, did you get good at it after a while?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Could you almost sense if somebody was going to get a little sideways and you could head that off?
Well, yeah. And I'm also very intentional on even how I start conversations with people. So,
right.
Yeah.
So there is a talent to, there's a skill to this. That's why the copycat principle works. If you go get involved with what you're doing, get involved in best practices, here's the thing. A couple people get mad, but you're making $720,000 last year. That's a nice thing. So the listing side will give you money and the time to enjoy it.
Yeah. All right. I want to open it up to some of our friends on Clubhouse. Justin's here, but Justin's on the phone as always. It looks like if you want to ask a question to, okay, it looks like Sharu wants to ask a question. So let's, Sharu, how's it going today, sir?
Hey, David, I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, man. You got a strong microphone. But yeah, I'm doing good, man. What's going on?
This is really amazing. I'm really enjoying it. I had a question for Ryan and you, because you guys are interacting already. So you mentioned that how sometimes, and there's times like this, when the agent is working with the buyer, they kind of get all over the place. And right now, a lot of these buyers are really not getting the homes they want. Mm-hmm. So I thought there's a reason why this is happening, and I just wanted to share that with the question, which is, do you think, Ren and David, this question for you two, that agents most of the time are running around wasting the time just showing homes rather than educating the buyers how to look at the homes and see the market? Because if they do that, they're actually coming across to their clients as an advisor rather than an agent who just got a lot of free time to run around and just never really close a deal on them. So what is that state of mind is going on with the buyer and the agent, and what kind of relationship is that?
Man, Sharu, that is an amazing question. And it's so important that buyer consult ahead of time. Basically, you're telling them what's going to, you're future pacing what's going to happen. You're sitting down, explaining what the whole process is like. And you may even with some charts show them statistics. On the average in our city, blank offers are made in the first 24 hours. And the success of the contracts based on these criteria. You educate them, and then you get them to make some certain commitments in advance, and tell them to bring their checkbook with them to have enough money for their earnest money deposit, because they're going to need to move forward right away. And ask them the key question. If when we go out tomorrow, if you find a perfect home that you love, is there any reason why you wouldn't move forward right away? You need to find that out, because there's some people think they can just ponder it, go home and ponder it. So you're absolutely right. You set this up with a buyer consult with a successful process. David, do you offer that process in your programs?
We focus on the listing side, to be honest with you, Ren. So
gotcha.
Yes, absolutely, 100% that same type of a call, but it would be more geared towards the seller, understanding what their expectations are for us when we come out, what they plan to do they plan to hire us, all those types of questions. Absolutely.
But Sharu, if you are working with a buyer, make sure that you go over, because here's the thing. A lot of agents are afraid to ask a lot of questions and take the people through what this is like, and they have to find out the hard way. They figure out, well, they're just going to find out the hard way. It's amazing how, they'll go out and show a bunch of houses, and then they go, oh, yes, I love that third house. I think we should write it up. And then they go, do you want to go ahead and write it up? Just say, oh, well, I would want to ask my fiance. You go, fiance? They never ask. They don't even know there are any other decision makers. So we need to pre-qualify. We need to sit down, spend time before you go out and show the first house, and ask the key question. Is there any reason if we find the perfect house, you wouldn't move forward? And then if they say, well, we want to take our time, we're not in a hurry, then say, I can only work with you if you're ready to buy now. Because isn't that the truth? You can only work with them if they're ready to buy now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
there's a lot of pre-qualified questions that you should ask your buyers before even spending any time showing them anything. I don't show buyers any properties whatsoever until they have that pre-qualification and until I've asked them very specific questions if they're going to be making those decisions on their own or if they have a spouse or a partner. And, they need to sit down and write down exactly what they absolutely need for the house. Everything else is just a plus, but they need to write down everything they need for that house.
I have something to say on that, because I think sometimes if you ask them all these questions, so what happened, your power as an agent is shifting towards your client who actually taken the lead as to they know what they want. And now that house never really appears, just to tell you the truth. Because what they're looking for, it never really shows up. So now, as an advisor, you have to be able to show them which homes and which area makes sense with the track record of history, and it adds value.
So let me jump in, because I don't want to go too far off track here and start. This isn't really a conversation.
We're on the buyer side,
yeah,
David.
I mean, this is definitely going in the wrong direction.
But it's the same church, different pew, right? Pre-qualify,
100%.
And we're not talking about financial pre-qualifying. That too, but motivation. Are they willing to move forward right away?
100%.
Future pacing, the next steps. You do it on the listing side. You do it on the buy side. Same tools.
Absolutely. But to what, I think the point is, whoever's asking the questions is controlling the conversation, regardless of what side you're on. I mean, if you guys listen to me, which I know a lot of you do, like make calls, even this morning I was making calls. It's just me asking questions. That's 80% of 7. I'm only talking 30% of the time, by the way. In the 30% of the time I'm talking, 80% of that time is asking questions. So that's it. And that's how you control a conversation. You ask questions and you listen, and it doesn't matter who you're talking to. And then you ask the next best question based on their answer. So whether you're talking to a buyer or a seller, you need to understand what their motivation is. You need to understand what their goal is, what their thoughts are, what their fears, what their problems. And then when you know that, you can help people. And that's what it's about, helping people.
Yeah, we're here to serve.
Yeah.
So can you ask the same question from the listing side to the client if you're taking the listing? What is that one question who will help you get the listing?
Hold on, we got two people talking. So the question I always ask a seller before I come out, Terrence, you're a really bad connection. I'm gonna mute you, Terrence. All right, so see, this is one of the challenges what you're doing with the clubhouse. All right, so what the question is, if everything we talk about makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident, do you plan to hire me today or tomorrow when I come out? That's it. And see what they say.
Right.
If they say
and
yes,
at a time they say depends on what you have to say.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes they say no. And I had one say no one time. I go, well, what's this about? Well, my nephew is a real estate agent. We just needed to use you to compare. Like,
yeah, there you go. Now you know. Now you can cancel your appointment if you want, right? You don't have to go. There's been plenty of times. And here's another question that we ask that a lot of agents are scared to ask is, hey, had you ever thought about selling the house yourself? And sometimes the person will start stuttering like, no, I wouldn't. Now they're just trying to use you to come out and get information.
And there are agents that are afraid to ask that question. And like, you're not going to give them the idea. Don't worry about it, but you need to ask the question.
100%. 100%. So what else? What other questions do we have from y'all? Deborah. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Deborah.
Yeah. Hi, guys. And thanks for having him on. He's amazing. So are you, David. I wanted to ask you the 5 most important systems you would have, agent, systems automated, like, so it would help you. So you're not like all over the place, I wanted to ask him that if he could respond. Thanks.
5 systems, Deb, or
well, I know 3? There's more.
Maybe we start with 1 and then we can work. All right.
Yeah.
So why don't we shoot for like 3 for now?
Okay.
5 might be too many to start with.
I know you're looking for automation and things like that, but the most important thing is just to have a schedule, show up, know what you need to do in the lead generation process, how many conversations you need to have, how many appointments you need to set each day. That you basically back it up. Let's say, for example, you want to take you want to sell 50 homes in a year's time, 50. So then the question is, how many of those are buyers and how many of those sellers? Now, the smart thing is to have about 2/3 of those as sellers. And so that would, let's say it's 35 sellers, 15 buyers. Okay. So then you say, in order to sell and close 35, how many do I need to take? Okay. You need to take 40. Or in order to take 40, how many appointments do I need to go on to take 40? And maybe you only have a batting average of only 50%. So you have to go on 80 appointments. In order to go on 80 appointments, divide by 12 in a month's time. So let's say that turns out to be 6 a month, which is, or it's probably 7 a month, 6.5 a month, whatever that number is. So then you have to, basically you have to list 2 a week. So then you have to, how many conversations do you have to have to list 2 properties a week? So that means, and that may mean you have to talk to 16, 18 people. So now you have a template you can operate on. And of course you adjust it over time, but you become very systematic. It's a system and it's conversations. And I realize there are a lot of systems that David can outline to you to get people in your net. That's a whole different subject. And how do you get people into the net? You know, there are phone tools and there are a lot of other tools, and there's tools like Vulcan7 to get people in the net so that what you're spending your time in conversations with people that are a high batting average, that you might be able to get an appointment to take a listing, to get it sold. So your buyer sales, those 1/3 are going to be there. Those are automatic. You don't have to go look for those buyers. You sold their home and they have nowhere to live. So 2/3 of your business comes from sellers. So that's how you do it. And you just set up the routine and you say, I'm going to take 4 to 6 weeks vacation a year. I'm going to come in 5 days a week. I'm going to talk to this many people. And then you get with David and he's going to give you all these systems for, where on the lake the fish are biting. He's going to help you with the tools to capture those people. Right. And then you're all set. And then you have a great year, and 50 times 10,000 commission check, $500,000.
Yeah,
Ren, can I ask you last question before I leave?
Well, hold on,
yes.
Sharu, hold on a second. And I think Robin was flashing next. So let me.
Oh, Sharu can go ahead at me if he wants, since he's going to leave. He can go ahead at me.
All right. So hold on 1 second. When I first got my real estate license, the system we used was 4x6 index cards. We would get all the real estate sections for the newspaper. We would cut them out and we would tape them to the top left corner of a 4x6 index card. And we had the little index card holders with the tabs that were listed by town. And then we alphabetized them by town and phone number. Like that was our system. And it worked. The challenge with that is you had to go every weekend, get all the local newspapers, cut out the ads, but it worked. It was a system.
And all that's done for you now.
Exactly. That's my point.
That's all that's done for you. You go into our system for expires. If the expired relists, we pull it out of your way so you don't accidentally call it. So all the technology is there now. David outlines how to get that all in place. You run it like a business. Go in with an open mind. And the rest is be willing to go on the listing side.
Yeah.
Which I still don't figure this out. Everybody gravitates, I guess, because it's gratifying to take somebody around and not sell them a home. I don't know.
So what is the yeah, well, you know what? Let me go to the question first. Sharu, what's your question, man?
Thank you, David. This is the last question. I'm just going to take off for the day. And I just thought this is just the perfect, because Ren comes from a technology background. So is there an artificial intelligence based technology in today's time and space, which is based on when you put on the information of a property, based on the style of the property, location, based on price, that past, all this information generates and gives you an idea. If you put particular street in the last 5 years and 10 years, how many homes were listed, at what price they were sold, what was the opening, what was the closing. And it gives you kind of an intuitive idea that if you list this style of a home, let's say Spanish or mid-century, how long it will take for it to sell, just based on the real numbers and real facts. I'm not talking about CMA. I'm talking about intuitive. You just put it on the computer, put that address, and you know this side of the home with 3 2 bedrooms, a bathroom. If you put in this price point, you will sure shot close the deal within this time frame. Just
The problem you have. What market are you in, Sharu?
I'm in Beverly Hills in California.
Beverly Hills in California. Yeah, I mean, there's too many variables there because, you know, depending on the existing demand and supply, the AI piece that you can't put together, although you could, and you know, if you run off of broker metrics or something like that, and you're looking at the competing properties in different price groups, it depends on any given day, the number of buyers in the market against the competing properties at any moment in time. And then you get a buyer or two, a lot of times they're like, well, I want it because I want it because I want it. And I'm paying all cash and I don't care if it's 3.2 and it's really only worth 2.5. I mean, there's too many variables to create AI around what you're describing. What we do have AI around that is a very helpful tool is, and by the end of the year, we'll be in all markets. We're in about 30 major markets now, is the likely to list. You can circle in our neighborhood search, you can circle a couple hundred homes, and what's going to light up is about, out of 200 homes, you're going to get about 25 or 30 of them that are going to light up as 4 to 8 times more likely to list than the rest. And that's based off a whole bunch of fascinating AI pieces. Did they recently light up their credit report because they are applied for a mortgage? Are they getting divorced? Is their income gone up to a point where they're outsized for their home based on, I mean, there's like 137 different touch points that you look at so that you can decide. Now, here's the thing. You can't call them up and go, you're going to be moving, you know, because my software says you're 4 to 8 times more likely to move than your neighbors. They don't know they're moving sometimes, or they may not want you to know why they have to move, but it helps you target in. If you take 200 homes and you only have to talk to, if you only have to talk to 34 of them, reach 34 of them, or market to 34 of them, now you're really zeroing in on AI that really does well.
Thank you, Sharu. Appreciate you and the questions, man.
Yeah. And good luck at Beverly Hills. That's a great market.
Yeah, he's the guy's in the beast market.
That is fun.
Yeah, we should be doing some more business with Sharu. Sharu, do you need to connect? If you need Vulcan7, by the way, let me know and we'll get you set up. We've got a special opportunity where you can get your 4th month for free. If you know.
Oh, I'm actually interested in that. I spoke to someone from Vulcan7 last week.
Oh, okay, cool. All right,
yeah.
Good. All right.
It was really interesting. Thank you. Well, again, thank you so much, David. I always love coming to your room, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to ask some silly questions sometimes.
These are great questions, Sharu, and you know we really appreciate it. We just want to try to drive as many people onto the listing side because the natural inclination is to just work with buyers, and it's a torturous process right now.
It is, yeah. I actually did also. I posted a link at the top, and if you go to the link, it's my link tree, and the first tab is Vulcan7. If you're interested in learning more about Vulcan7, there's a link. You can register. You can have a call with one of their representatives. The second link is a webinar we're doing next week. We normally charge $97 for this webinar, but we're doing it for free. And it's Get Listings Now webinar. It's going to be on Zoom, and we're going to go through a process that we use, that my clients are using, to take anywhere from 1 to 2 listings every week, 4 to 8 listings a month consistently. And that's there as well. So if you use that link, you'll have access to both of those things. So we're going to jump to Robin's question, and we've probably got about another 7 or so minutes before we have to wrap. So thanks, Sharu, and everybody else. So Robin, what questions do you have?
Oh, actually, no, I don't have a question. I just wanted to applaud you. Thank you so much, Dave, for having me on here. But I love this conversation because I am a listing agent. And
yes, Robin, yes.
Just like Ren's saying, I don't understand why you want to be anything else. I mean, I can look on this stage and see a listing agent anywhere. I mean, Shantae is a listing agent. I didn't even read her profile, but I can look at her picture and tell that she's going to go in, command a room, get the listing, and also get the buyer from that same listing. That's how you got to look at it.
That's it. Because it's instant buyers. You sell their home, they have nowhere to live. They will on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. They'll go out looking for. They'll buy one. What? What?
You're getting 2 deals for 1. So why would you?
I know. Robin, what market are you in, Robin? What market are you in?
I'm in Michigan. I'm in Michigan. Actually, I started off as I'm an investor first, and then I said, well, hell, what the hell? Let me go on and get my license, so they won't be mad at me for buying too many houses. I went and got my license, and when I came in, I think I sold 2 luxury houses, and the damn market crashed. And I said, okay, cool. So let me work this. So then I started going to all the freaking banks. And I started telling them, listen, if anybody can sell your house, I can. You need to give me all your foreclosures. I did that. Me and my broker at the time, we ended up doing over 285 assets. We held them in our coffers at all times. Okay, we was the only two.
Does anybody understand why Robin is successful? It's real clear why Robin is successful. She's like, get out of my way. We're coming in. You are fun. I want to meet you. You are fun.
All right.
So so now I actually I had
somebody come up and can somebody come up and shadow you?
Yes, they can.
Would they fly into Detroit?
I'm too much.
Where would they fly into? Detroit?
Do I have what now?
Where would they fly into to shadow you for the day?
They're flying to DTW. Detroit Wayne.
Detroit. Well, good. Okay, DTW, Detroit.
Right. Metropolitan Airport.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a nonstop flight to Detroit from almost anywhere in the world. Folks, get in the morning with Robin and forever be changed. You will forever be changed.
Robin, I'm going to message you. Send me your email address if you would in your phone.
Would you, and David, would you give me her email? I want to talk. I want to meet her. She's better than a drug. Seems like she's.
Well, now, you guys, I am in. Actually, I said, I got kind of bored, and I said, let me go into because I'm with EXP with the Huffman Group as far as for the real estate.
Sure.
But what I'm doing now is I just said, shoot, I'm gonna flip this thing and go commercial because now I got a bunch of commercial people. And I said, listen, I need for all of you guys to come out of them single family homes. Let's start buying apartment buildings and hotels and let's start making that happen.
Robin, did you grow up playing Monopoly?
I do love Monopoly.
You got rid of those greenhouses and you're getting red hotels now, aren't you?
I do like Monopoly. Right. So I'm brokering my own commercial and then working with the Huffman Group with EXP. And I'm just
notice she's trying to recruit you guys to EXP. That's what she's really doing going on right now.
No,
I'm gonna sell.
All right. Let me take this over again. So let me get back control here. So I see more back control. All right.
Come help me, David. Help me.
Yeah. So, all right. Thank you, Robin. I sent you a message here on the app. If you give me your info, I'll connect you with Ren. Also, if people are really interested in shadowing you, I would tell them reach out. I'll share your info with them if it's okay, Robin. If people
it absolutely is.
Awesome.
It absolutely is, David.
All right.
And thank you so much for having me on your stage.
Absolutely. You were fun. You're great.
What a hoot. I love her.
Any other final questions? Give me a mic flash before we wrap.
It's
all right.
easier to be a listing agent than a buyer's agent.
Oh, yeah. No kidding. Jeez.
Absolutely. And I saw William. William's been here for a little while, so I want to honor William's time. So, William, do you have a question? And then this is going to be our last question today.
Hey, thanks, David. I just signed up for that link, so I'll definitely be in looking. Vulcan7 may be the answer that I'm looking for, but I had one of my agents ask me a question. So I'm new to the Miami market, very successful, somewhat successful. I just capped with EXP out of the Tampa market.
Nice.
I haven't spent hardly a couple days in Tampa since June of last year, but I finally capped and I haven't sold any houses in Miami. I want to list down here, so I think a Vulcan7 may be the way to go. Question: I had an agent ask me, "Hey, Bill, I've been looking at the obituaries, and what's a way to go forward and inquire about those houses?" And I told him, "Well, I'm not sure, but I think probate is obviously part of that process. But what is that process when houses someone looks into obituaries and sees, there's a death, obviously something's going to happen here soon."
Yeah.
Does that go through the group?
Yeah. And a lot of that varies from state to state, and it depends on whether they have real estate available for sale. One of the, there are a number of companies that provide real estate agents with the leads. There's a company called alltheleads.com. They do it, a couple others, and it there's so much variation depending on what state you live in. So, but they could probably help you with some of that. But it's a great source of business, and there are a skill set. We've interviewed a couple people on my show that specialize in that because there's a skill set specific to pardon. And David, you probably teach to that too, don't you?
I don't, but Bill Gross is someone I know, and that's all he focuses on.
Yeah, there's a process to this, you know. Yeah, there is a process to that. The biggest challenge they have is ducking investors because they have people that investors that chase it and want them to just make it real easy for them and pick up something at 40% off, you know. So you have to warn them that that's going to happen, and then help them understand you're going to help them sell it for retail.
Absolutely.
Sorry, but we missed that .com. You said you
all the leads. Alltheleads.com.
Alltheleads.com. Okay, thank you.
ALL, the leads.com.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, got it. Thank you, John.
I helped him name it. He goes, he had these goofy names. I said, you need to just call yourself All the Leads.
I love that. So also, William, I sent you a message as well. Listen, we can chat. I'll share some strategies as well, how you can easily break into a market, start taking listings right away. And then when it ends up happening, I'm sure you know this is you start taking listings, and then because of it, you'll attract other listings. So
awesome.
The best way to break into a market is beyond probate, expired, and FSBOs is probably the easiest way to break into a market.
Great, thanks, David.
Miami is a gold mine. We have for all the way from Miami to Boca, all the way up and down. We have people on Vulcan7 that are making. This is one guy. He's 18 months in the business. 18 months in the business, and he is making $650,000 a year, but just working Vulcan7.
Yeah. Well, nice. You know, it's nice to have those high price points too. It helps a lot.
Right.
Know?
Yeah. He's in Lauderdale, I believe.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, final question, Ren. I just want to thank everybody here that's been on Clubhouse hanging out. Appreciate y'all. Final question for you, Ren. What does path to mastery mean to you?
What does path to mastery mean to me? Mm-hmm. Best practices. I mean, it's like, the problem we have when we get in real estate business is there's this disease that we get. It's called independentitis. And if you allow somebody that's been in this business for 10, 15, 20 years at a high level that can save you a lot of time and pain by showing you their best practices, you absorb it for a couple of years, take in 100% of it, the ROI is going to be there right out of the gate. What's an average person pay you a month typically between what and what, David?
Average person pay me?
Yeah. That's involved in your programs?
Well, I mean, it depends on the pro. I mean, we have membership that's
so you have $600 to $800 or $2,000 a month
program. Yeah, from $48 to $5,000. That
okay, so 48. Sorry, and so here's the thing: you get involved at something mid-level and start working. You're not going to lose money. You are going to come out ahead. You are going to get material in a very short amount of time that will give you a return on the investment for life, right out of the gate.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. How many years have you been doing this, David?
November will be 20 years, baby. 20 years.
How many homes have you sold in your personal life?
About 1,100. So.
Okay, there you go, folks.
Yep.
Will you learn something? Yes. Is he 100% all the answers in all the ways? No, but he has got a great set of tools to use that you can instantly get a yield on. So why not? I mean, what do you have to lose? Nothing.
Thank you, man, for that. And I also think, guys, check out the links for Vulcan7. If you Ren's also here. Ren's going to be doing this with me once a month. This is going to be a new segment we're going to be doing every fourth Friday. So we'll be here on the app as well. So if you want to mark your calendars, and listen, I think the best shortcut is, connecting with somebody that already knows what they're doing and can kind of guide you. And I was lucky when I got my license, I joined a team, and Steve Clements was the team leader, and he showed me how to call FSBOs. And I took his process, and, it wasn't the greatest process, but I looked at it, I improved it over time, and and you know, and we've kind of took it to a different level, and it's been great for me, and we've helped a lot of other people with it. So that's
Don't get caught up in the caca in your office in your real estate company.
Yeah.
Get involved, and because as we know, it's only 5% of the agents have an exciting life, and the other 95% are either suffering or on their way into another career. You know, so be one of the 5%.
I mean, it's just a
Just
consistent
that stat: 10% of the agents make 90% of the commissions. It's something wacko like that. So be part of that minority if you can.
Absolutely. Ren, if anybody wants to get in touch with you, what would be the best way to do that?
Ren at Vulcan7.com. That's REN. Happy to have them reach out.
All right. Awesome. And also,
I just don't want to see people suffer. This is such a fun business if you will allow it to be.
Yeah, it can be. It's exciting too because it's never boring. Every day is different, and get to meet people. And if you get fun, you know, like I have fun making calls. It's easy for me to make calls at this point. Like it's weird because I'm in this weird place where it's more challenging for me to call somebody and talk to them about coaching than it is to call someone and talk to them about selling. Like I can pick up a phone and call an Expired or FSBO all day and have fun with it. And yet I'm calling real estate agents to talk to them about helping them with their business.
It's called unconscious competence. It just moves through him automatically. And it's fun. And here's the thing, you know, those commission checks are large. And if every time you turn around every week, there's money being deposited in your account. This business is so much fun. And if you're on the buy side, believe me, I don't know anybody on the buy side, well, except for teams where they're handing you stuff because they've sold the house. You know, outside of that, the buy side is a rough road.
All right. Well, we went really long on our 30-minute interview, but I'm glad we did. It was super fun. Just want to say I appreciate you. For anybody, you guys have Ren's contact info. And also, if you need anything from me, the easiest way to get me is davidhill.link. Again, davidhill.link. And if you want to, you know, a great place to start for anybody is join our real estate club, which is davidhill.club. And you'll have access to our daily huddle. And we got about 50 other realtors in there, and we're just growing. And it's a great, fun community. And so every realtor in the planet should be part of our community. That said, Ren, I just want to say thank you again for your time. Appreciate you. We'll be back next month. This was fun.
All righty.
And I want to thank all the people that are in Clubhouse as well. Make sure you give Ren a follow. By the way, we'll get you some more followers, Ren. Let's see how many followers you have now. When we started, you had 62. So you gained 7 followers in here.
Oh, good deal. Well, there we go.
We got to get you a few more. And don't forget to follow the Club Listings Inc. All right. That said, Ren, appreciate your time, sir.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
All right.